Welcome to Leaders Front, our very first show. My name is Michael Sims, Dr. Michael Sims, and I am here to talk real leadership with real leaders. We're excited for this, as I said before, to be our first show. And with that, I got my very first guest on leadership, none other than Derek Thompson, the CEO of T&T Creative Group, a digital media marketing firm. And he had to be my first guest because he's one of the guys that I've actually worked for. And not only that, I consider to be a very huge leader, especially in the entrepreneurship realm. So, Derek, glad to have you on the very first show and kick it off with you. And I want to kick it off with you telling people a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
And just a little bit about how you gave into T&T Creative Group and just the whole scope of it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. Congratulations on everything. Your book, Leading from the Front, on a new podcast. Thank you for having me as your first guest. So it is certainly an honor. So Derek Thompson, CEO, founder of T&T Creative Group. We've been around for 12, going on 13 years now. We work with companies all around the world.
Wow.
Fortune 50 companies. Very, very proud of that. And we offer digital media solutions ranging from high-end 3D animation to video production to custom web application development. It runs the gamut. But we just help our companies grow through digital media, keep them on the cutting edge as we go. And a lot of that is possible from how we started in the diner on the napkin to change the world. So,
That's it. Outstanding. Yes. So talk about a little bit about where you're from, and drop a little knowledge, especially from an entrepreneurship realm, because I know that as far as and I'm not saying I'm all of that, but I know a lot of people. But from an entrepreneurship and seeing somebody grow where, you're right, it was me and you on a napkin,
right,
to having 13, 14 people now. They're working for navigating overseas and all those things like that. Just get a little bit about that.
Wow. So, I started my first business in high school, actually. So I've been entrepreneur my whole life. But about 12, 13 years ago, had the vision for T&T Creative Group. It started off as a web development business, and we evolved it to be much more than that, to become a full scale media company. But it's something that I wanted to start for many years, but I wasn't able to do that again without the right leaders in place. So again, by you coming on and being a leader allowed me to be able to start that, because you have a lot of people that say they want to help, say they want to do anything that it takes to help your business grow. But few people really mean that.
Appreciate
most people, when they want to step into a role in the business, it's if it comes with certain things. But you had a whatever it takes attitude. You truly had business first, company first, yourself second. And it's hard to find those types of people. And I know that's those things that we'll probably get to later. And, could not have honestly, started this without you. But yeah, T&T is a digital media firm, and you've helped make it happen.
So you said something, all right? So let's hit that a little bit. You said you can't hardly find those type of people now.
No.
That's a direct reflection, you think, of what?
Man, that's a great question. I would say that's a direct reflection of wanting to truly be successful. Some people only want to be successful if they can be successful in a certain way. A la go to the sports. Jerry Jones only wants to win the Super Bowl if he could do it a certain way. Right. Truly doesn't want to win a Super Bowl because he's going to have to get out of the way in order for that to happen.
Wow.
And everybody is not built that way. Everybody's not built to be selfless, to say, hey, I want to accomplish the ultimate goal no matter what, even if it doesn't mean that I get all the credit. And so I think that's probably more of what I'm trying to say. You weren't worried about who would get the credit. You wasn't worried about any of that. It was just a matter of what can I do to truly make this successful? And that's why you were the person that I was able to put in many different roles, because I knew you could handle it. I
Right.
knew you could be over here, and then I could switch you and move you around as we were trying to figure some things out, because
Right.
there were a lot of things we were trying to figure out as we went.
It was.
There
was.
And a lot of people would get frustrated by that and say, no, I came here to do this. I want to do it this way.
Right.
And we were too new for all of that. And so
Right.
there's only certain people that are built that can kind of go with the flow and truly say, no matter what it takes to make this thing successful, I'm willing to do whatever it is, even if that means sweeping the floors, like you said, and you truly meant that.
Right. And that's one of my, my adages and what he's talking about for our viewing audience. One of my biggest things I always say, that even though I'm hired for whatever position, I'll sweep the floors if you need me to. And I think that mindset not only it helps the company, but it helps you to put yourself in a certain perspective that, you know what, I am not just all about me. I'm about whatever we all need. And that's the
Yes.
me to we philosophy. I got to talk about that a little bit in my book. But getting back to you, what would you say is your leadership moment that kind of started in your career where you said, you know what, I could do this. I'm a leader.
It was very, very early on. Just being at meetings, and when they ask, okay, who wants to step up and lead this particular initiative, and looking around and seeing nobody raise their hand, and being the one that would raise their hand and say, okay, yes, I'll lead this fundraising initiative. I'll lead this outreach initiative. I'll lead that. That was the moment, in Rotary, when I learned that I had some natural leadership abilities. Now there's, things can be taught and learned, but then there's
Right.
also some natural ability. And that's when I learned, when I would just look around and see that people just naturally would not step up and volunteer. When I started my first business, one of the things that I was intimidated by early on was just being young. I was typically the younger person
Right.
around. And that was a challenge at times, because you're trying to lead people that are, older than you.
Right.
So that was one of the early challenges. But now that I'm older, that's certainly become a lot easier.
And I think, that's a funny thing that you bring up, because there's a catch-22 in that. And what I mean by that is you can have a younger person trying to lead older people, but the younger one already has a stuck mindset from a leadership standpoint on the me platform.
Right.
That they're already saying, okay, I'm young, so they're going to come at me a certain way. When you just got to kind of be able to just absorb and take everybody in just for, who they are, and then deal with each situation. So what I mean by that, just to get a little bit more deeper, is, you could have an individual that's coming at you that you're young, whatever, right? But at the same time, you're going to have to say, okay, is he coming at me because I'm young, or is he coming at me because I'm not doing exactly what I'm? But you got to have an open mind for that.
You do.
And a lot of us
Yes.
come in there with different prejudices.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you don't see people stepping up to the front because, I'm young, they're not going to receive me. Well, first of all, you have to be able to put yourself in a position to be received. And I think a lot of us don't do that. Let me ask you this: having a company like T&T that's digital media, so you guys do videos, those things like that, and you have to be creative. So how do you, at the same time, from a leader standpoint,
Yes.
try to lead, but you don't want to stagnate your workers and your people as far as their creativity and things like that?
Right. Yes, we work with people that are extremely creative. The 3D animators, developers that can create absolutely anything that you throw at them, they can create it. So what I typically do when I work with our team is I don't try to tell them how to do anything. I don't try to tell them how to design. I don't try to tell them how to develop, right? My philosophy is I present them with what the problem is. Hey, this is the problem that we're facing. How do you think we should address this? That's how I treat all of our creative people, and I get a much better product that way than trying to come in and be super detailed and tell them how to do it. I just try to tell them what we're trying to accomplish or what the problem is. And then that's how we always get the best out of them.
Yeah, and I'll say this, of course, when working with you for you, that you look to pull out of people. And for instance, I'll say this because you want me. As long as I know you, you almost mad if I don't say something.
Right.
You literally want me. Now here's the caveat.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go exactly to whatever I say, but you want that input to give you another frame of mind of how you're looking at things. And I think so many people in today's society get intimidated by that. And I think you're one of the few, because I'm just speaking for myself. I'm very how can I say this in a nice way? But I'm very vocal.
Oh, right. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I will state or say. So
Certainly.
you can get, I feel, a lot out of me. And if you look at this with other workers and with other people, then you'll understand that we philosophy. You know, you can get a lot out of me if you let me go ahead on, because nothing I'll ever say or do is going to be detrimental to whatever, the actual, mission is. I think, again, going all the way back to the Marine Corps, I look at how, being a sergeant, gunnery sergeant, those things like that.
Yes.
Even in the military, people think that it's just, just structured to whoever's on top, and you just say and do. No. The better leaders, even in the military, are the ones that take stuff from those individuals. Again, key thing is not necessarily utilizing all of it or whatever, but pick and choose and at least have that input from them. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. But I wanted to actually throw back at you.
Yeah.
How would you address creative folks? Because I have my way, and I'd be curious about how you address that. Because I see you with your team when you're working with the video crew and we're out there out and about and whatnot. You definitely are giving guidance and input, but how do you work with your team?
That's a good question. You start to, I think it's the relationship that you build with each individual. I'll talk about one person, our lead person, director of video, Aaron,
yes,
who I work very good with, but we've developed a relationship over the years, and I look for actual input on him, and one of the things I'll say with him, he'll look to get a certain camera shot. And he'll, and I trust him to the utmost, but he'll still come back to me and say, hey, man, take a look at this and see what you think or whatever. So I think it's just one of those where you garner a relationship, and I think we don't take enough time to do that. And that's I heard you mention trust. Yeah. Right. And I think that just comes, we got, and they are good. All our camera people, all the ones I have on staff are good, but each one of them are a little bit different, and I just kind of handle them. Some other ones I just totally direct them. That's nothing, negative or anything like that. Right. But Aaron has a little bit more experience, creativity. He's been in there, done a lot of stuff. So I have to handle him different than the other ones and stuff. So I think when we become leaders, we have to take a look at it from a wide perspective, a wide scope on each and every one of our workers. We try to say. I think that's a misnomer. We say treat everybody the same. Right? Whatever.
No.
Talk about that.
No.
Talk about that.
Goodness, no. You cannot treat everybody the same because everybody has different needs.
Right.
Certain things are more important to others. Some is more important. Right. Pat on the back. Right. So some you have to constantly, assure. Some is more important just to communicate with in general. They want to hear from you. Yeah. Some people. They need to hear from you on a daily or weekly, every other day. Some like us, we could go a long time, right? Because
we talk about that.
We know where each other is. So yeah, everybody has different. Some are more motivated with that's cool. No, just pay me, right? So everybody has different things, and you definitely have to understand your team, understand each individual, and cater towards that.
Right.
Yes, for sure.
To grow your team. I think that's one of the biggest misnomers. That sounds good. It sounds good, But in reality, that's not reality.
Right.
Especially you want to look at growing a business, you want to look at leading a team, you want to look at leading an organization. You have to start to understand. And usually when I go off and speak, especially when I talk about one of those topics is communications, I talk about how the fact that you got to establish a relationship with your people. The problem is, we think that a relationship is we got to have a beer, we got to be hugged. That doesn't, that's not what it's about. That's understanding, where they're from, their likes, their dislikes. Like you said, the things that motivate them, because everybody's motivated on different things and stuff. So that just takes a little time to just learn those things. What's the biggest lesson that you could say that from an entrepreneurship standpoint that you learned as far as in leadership?
Oh man, I would say it probably is that. It probably is understanding what makes each individual tick and catering to that, and understanding that you can't treat everybody the same way. That you have to treat everyone. You have to understand what motivates people, and really make sure that you're pushing those buttons. And that you also have to, from a leader, you're selling. Right, you're selling a vision.
That's a good point.
You have to make sure that right, just like with customers, you're selling them a product or a service, and you're selling them. Well, as a leader with your team, you're constantly selling them that, hey, this is the best place to be with. This is the best team to be a part of. This is the best company to be a part of. So that's probably the biggest lesson that I've learned over the years, because I was more of a one size fits all person in the beginning, and I also felt that as long as we had the right systems, you can just put anybody in there.
How do you deal with negativity?
How do I deal with negativity from the standpoint of just people on our team?
Yeah.
Well, so there's a couple of layers to that.
Yeah.
So it depends on the negativity. It depends on if it's from our team. Is it negativity just meaning you're a negative person, or is it negativity meaning it's coming from a good place and we're just truly trying to make things better? So if it's just negativity in general, you got to go. Right. Then that's a cancer to the organization. So we have to filter that out. If it's just negativity to truly solve a problem and make things better, and your heart is pure, you're coming with the right intentions, then that's great. Then I'd certainly embrace that and want to work through that.
Would you agree? I say you're spot on. I would add to that the person that's wanting to do better is going to bring a solution.
Yeah, you're true. That's great. My gosh, my dad would harp on that. Yes. So when you go come to me with something bad or negative, bring a solution, not just bring it up. That's a great point, because that's a big red flag to me. From my team is if you are someone that's always just bringing up issues, right? Because there are many people that try to make a career out of that. And those are typically your low performing people. I like to call them fire starters. That's their whole role, is just to find the issue and then just fire the flames on that. And then other people think, oh my goodness, I'm just like, this is so great that you found this. Thank you for finding this issue. And they just go away. Those are the people that you present them with a document, and their main thing is they're just trying to find a typo. Right. So they can come back and say, oh, this one word is misspelled. And then raise their hand and be happy about that. Right. So
I think that is outstanding as far as even the term fire starter, because in any organization, any mission, and I think that's probably I got a couple of them. My biggest pet peeves is people being negative and not providing a solution.
Right. Yes.
It's easy to talk, but tell me whatever the solution is.
Great point.
Or whatever.
Great point.
Give me can you share a moment that you felt that in leadership that you was real heavy, or you had a real challenge that forced you to grow?
Man. There's been so many. I mean, actually, so with leadership in general, it feels heavy all the time to me. I mean, I always feel the weight of leadership.
So you say that just goes along with that responsibility?
Yes. I'd say that goes along with it. I mean, that's a daily thing. I mean, you, in many cases, are responsible for the livelihood, of your team and whatnot. So there's a lot of heaviness that goes with leadership. Sometimes there can be loneliness that comes with leadership.
Outstanding point.
I know that's a whole nother,
Yeah, that's another topic. I plan on having you back on the show here and there and stuff, even when I'm having others.
Yes,
we're here right now, the Leadership Lab. I call it the LL now, the Leadership Lab.
I like that. I like
the LL
I like
Leadership
that.
Lab. And, we're going to have some other in one of the other studios and stuff. But, that's a topic in itself.
Yeah, but to ultimately, answer that. So, what I try to do in general, with any crises or anything like that is I just try to break it down and not make it too big. Any big project, any big issue, anything that just feels big, that just has a lot of weight to it. I try to break it down into pieces to make it not feel as big overall. Is how I approach just everything that's major and that brings me stress and anxiety. I try to just break it down and approach it that way. Is how I approach it.
I love it. Well, I'm gonna ask you this here in closing. What advice from entrepreneurship, or you just want to say straight leadership, would you give your number one thing in parting that you would share with our audience as far as if they're wanting to be a good leader, besides getting the book Leaders from the Front?
Oh, yes. Number one, get the book Leading from the Front by Michael Sims. That's your first step. But I would say, man, trust is everything. Trust is everything. And it's a two-way street. So I would advise just any, young leader, anyone that's moving into leadership, is to try to establish that trust with your team from your side to them, of course. They need to know that you truly care about them, care about their well-being, care about them being the best version of themselves. That is very, very important. But then also, you need to make sure that you can trust your team. And there's two forms of trust that I look at with my team members. Is one, can I trust you to perform? Can I trust you to come through whenever we need you to, right? And then number two, can I trust you from an integrity standpoint? And so those are the two parts of trust that I'm looking for. And they're non-negotiables. They have to do that. And you learn those as you go. You try to, when you're interviewing or you're vetting, you try to, find if you can trust people with both of those, but you only know once you're in the trenches, right? That's the only time you truly know. So again, one, performance trust. Can I trust that you're going to do whatever it takes to meet this deadline and come through, perform, be there? And then from an integrity standpoint, can I trust that you are going to have our best interest at heart? If I ask you to please not do something or do something on behalf of the company, are you truly going to fulfill that? Or are you going to try to, on the back end, kind of get away and slide? So I'd say trust. Trust is very important with leadership.
I love that because, again, that starts out the foundation. So we can move forward in whatever way, actually, negatively or positively. But I trust you to know wherever you're going in that direction and stuff.
Because with trust, again, here's an example. I trust you explicitly, right? So if I take you, someone that I trust wholeheartedly, and somebody else that I don't trust, you both can say the same thing to me.
Right.
I'll interpret it two totally different ways.
Right.
Just based off of that trust.
Right. You go one of them, I'm gonna look at it, okay, that's gospel. Right. The other one gonna be like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, look, man, this has been impactful for the first show. Man, I appreciate you getting me kicked off here. I think you got some real good leadership nuggets on there, and that's what we're looking at on the show. Whether you're at a cash register, you're over 5 or 6 people at the cash register, or where you running a full-fledged company, we're hoping to give nuggets, and I think you gave some today. So again, appreciate you having being on this first show, also looking at just having you, because just your wealth of knowledge, as a call it a friend of the show or whatever. When we have some of the other guests on, might have you on here from time to time to sit in a little second seat there and stuff. And if you don't mind, and come on, and we gonna hit up some people and get some things about leadership.
I'd be honored to be here anytime.
Hey, that's right. I'm Mike Sims, Dr. Mike Sims. for this Leaders Front. We just had Derek Thompson. Look forward to our next episode where we are going to have Kay Johnson. She's the executive director of the Harbor Shelter in Clayton, North Carolina. So with that, this is Leaders Front. I'm out.